What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. So, since the release of Co-op Quest on the 10th anniversary on May 11th, a lot of people have been asking what is the best way to actually farm the Co-op Quest. You know, continuously grinding it over and over again can potentially net you some rainbow gem drops, or whatever they call the Grand Feast stones, but also you can get luck drops from them, which is nice to increase your luck of your characters. You can also get cotton candy, manuals, proof of friendship medals, you know, all that good stuff. So a lot of people have been wondering what is the best way to farm it. So what I'm showing you guys in this video is a combination of two separate teams that kind of like work together, and this is what Karissa and I have been working on over the last couple days, and it seems to be working pretty well. Another thing that we've been trialing out is just the first team, or the other team you'll see in this video, utilizing the 6-star Gear 5 Luffy team, just running two of those together. That has actually been working pretty well as well. Of course, a lot of people are going to say, you know, it is kind of an RNG game mode, and that is kind of true to an extent. You can go all the way through to the last stage, and then the last stage just destroys you because the gimmicks are just, you know, a little too difficult to get around. You know, if you encounter the worst bosses in the middle of the run, you know, through doing a little bit of runs of this, I will say that the Blackbeard boss feels like the worst one to come up against, considering he inflicts you with pain, and also the effect of chain attack down for 3 turns. Like, the Blackbeard boss feels really, really bad to go up against. But also characters like the Buggy boss can be annoying at times. Lucci is very frustrating as well, because Lucci, you know, basically means you can't kill the stage in 1 turn. And Gecko Moria is also very frustrating, as he silences your captain position, not the co-op captain, but your normal captain. So that means that you can't do any swipe effects, you can't use their special, you can't use their EX super, you can't use their switch effect, and that really hurts too, because not being able to use certain character specials can literally end your run. And definitely support effects are going to be very vital in building teams to get through Infinitum C a bit more effectively. What I will say as well is that after trialing out a bunch of the different co-op captains, you know how there's different co-op captains that do different things. So you've got the attacker rumble style units that, you know, do a bit of damage to the opponent, change type slots into matching. You've got the supporter style units, you've got healers, you've got the defenders, you have the debuffers. In my personal experience, I have found the debuff style units to be the most impressive. I really enjoy the effects that they provide. Being able to remove all of the enemy's beneficial effects by 1 turn is absurdly strong. I know that a lot of people have other opinions, like the healers, because that also can, I believe I think it might be the healers, removes your own negative effects by 1 turn, so that can help you offset some of the effects that, you know, some of those really nasty mini bosses can apply to you. But I felt like when you reach the last boss stage, the debuffer style characters are just immensely powerful, considering that they have really annoying defensive effects, or they have like the damage limiter, for example, or they have the effect where they take less damage from certain slots, or they've got like a resilience, or they've got some type of defensive effect, just or a barrier, for example. A lot of the times, if you just have the debuffer style captain to remove the beneficial effect by 1 turn, it makes things so much easier, especially if you end up using 6-star Gear 5 Luffy, because when that character uses his special in his Gear 5 state, he also removes enemy beneficial effects by 1 turn. So having your debuff style captain, 6-star Gear 5 Luffy, and then if your partner also has a debuff style captain, being able to remove 3 turns of all enemy beneficial effects by 1 turn, each for each one is very, very powerful, and it makes things a lot easier when you go up against all these different types of bosses. Moving on to the next run now, and this is just going up against a different boss. So in the previous clip, we went against Nami. Nami feels very safe. Then we've also got Usopp, which is going to be the main boss in this run. And there's also a couple of different mini bosses that we encounter along the way too. So the end bosses, that can really, you know, make or break your run. There's 2 bosses in particular that feel very cumbersome to go up against. One of which being the Monkey D. Luffy. I haven't come up against him that much at all. He seems like a really low rate, or I've just been very, very lucky. But Luffy has an effect that if you activate color affinity, he like blows away half of your crew, and the debuffs that he applies are very, very annoying to get around. And another boss that I've personally found very annoying to deal with is Frankie. Frankie is frustrating in that he does have damage immunity for 2 turns. Of course, with debuff style captains, or if you use the new Legend Ace that just come out, they're able to remove that, so that's not that big of a deal. But the issue arises is that he does have other defensive effects, and he also does a death hit. So that can be very frustrating to come up against, especially if you do opt to use Gear 5 Luffy, the Psy Gear 5 Luffy, as he does have the effect in his captain that when he is in his Gear 5 state, damage reduction specials or effects don't work on your team, so you can't even tank the damage from the death hit. So the only way around it is to not make him into Gear 5 form and to just tank the death hit and then use the revive to survive. So that could be a strategy, but due to the immense amount of defensive effects throughout the content, it's going to be very, very rare cases that you make your way to the final boss stage without having activated the EX Super of the Psy Gear 5 Luffy. But as for the rest of the bosses, most of them feel pretty good. I will say another boss that I found very frustrating is the Sanji. I don't really like the Sanji boss that much, but you've got like Usopp, Nami feel very good. Jinbei is the most free boss in this entire content. If you find Jinbei, you should win most of the time. He doesn't really do that much, so he feels very, very easy to go up against. Chopper can be difficult at times because he has the effect where he takes less damage from certain slots, and that lasts for like 5 turns. So if you don't have a way to get yourself recovery or int slots, then the Chopper boss can be very frustrating to deal with. Brook can be a little annoying as well, every single turn applying defensive effects, and he does revive. But again, if you're using this type of team with debuff style captains, being able to just remove all of his defensive effects by 1 turn, that just kind of is all you need. Because he does apply debuffs or buffs to himself every turn, but they only last for 1 turn. So if you have a debuff style captain or, you know, Psy Gear 5 Luffy, you can remove them, and then he does revive, and then you just got to hope that your friend can go ahead and kill them, or of course they can skip it back to you. I mean, there's a lot of other bosses as well, of course. Like Nico Robin feels very, very free as well, especially if you're using the Psy Gear 5 team that you're seeing in this clip as well. Feels very, very good to go up against that as well. But yeah, most of them feel pretty good with these types of teams, but it still does come down to what kind of mini bosses you encounter throughout the run. Because if worse comes to worse, you may have to activate your Zoro Sanji special, which means that you don't get their effects on the final boss stage, and depending on when you use the special ability, you might not be able to use their switch effect, which means you can't guarantee yourself tandem slots to activate super tandems with some of the characters on your team. So that also could be a little bit frustrating to go up against. But overall, you know, Infinitum C, at the best of times, I don't think anyone has a 100% farm team that beats every single boss, no matter what. It is very RNG, and it is dependent on the types of bosses that you come up against, and if you are running with random people, it can really come down to how intelligent those types of players are. And also comes down to their investment, it comes down to their level limit breaks, the supports that they have. So if you have a really good core group of people, that is going to be a really nice way to, you know, guarantee yourself decent runs at this content at least. But yeah, this is kind of rough to farm the Infinitum C, but I will say that if you are unable to farm Infinitum C, it's not the end of the world, because you can still farm the slightly lower difficulties, and they still net you pretty good drops as well. But overall, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video today, and if you did enjoy the video, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.